My 42F husband, 43M, kind of quit after I started making a lot of money. Throwaway account, for obvious reasons. I, 42F, and my husband, 43M, have been married for 15 years. No kids, VHCOL. A few years back, I decided to start taking my career more seriously, and have gone from low-key high earner, $150,000, to high-key high earner, $700,000. My husband has always earned around $150,000 running his own business. He was in the process of starting a new line of business during the time that I got my current job. After I actually got it, however, the line of business turned more into a jobby. It hasn't brought in any money for about 2 years, has created enormous amounts of debt without corresponding income, and he has also tapered his salary, first to zero altogether and then, about 6 months ago, after many fights, brought it back to 50% of where he once was. He's also straight up lied to some of our investors, family members, about why he hasn't been able to pay them back yet. They are enabling the behavior though, so that's complicated too. He has sort of floated being a stay-at-home husband, now that I have this high-paying job, but to be honest, I have really come to resent how he was downshifted right at the moment that I upshifted, without there ever being a discussion of him maintaining his prior levels of contribution. So now I just kind of feel taken advantage of. Whenever we talk about it, he gives me this line about how he is entitled to self-actualize, which sounds good on paper but also would be impossible without my financial support. He says, go ahead, switch jobs, and then turns around and is buying expensive clothes etc. all day long. It's frustrating. There are a lot of other details but I'll keep it short. I guess my question is, has anyone else been kind of frustrated that their spouse started treating them like a piggy bank after they started making real money? What did you do? What happened? You said, are investors? Are you in business together? You need a marriage counselor and a lawyer. Separate accounts. You need to sit down together and have a serious conversation about expectations moving forward. You can afford to live off your salary, but like you, I wouldn't be thrilled about my partner deciding to just quit without a discussion. Schedule time to go over the budget and have him actually spell out what he's going to do while you work. It might be beneficial if he actually manages the household, cooks, deals with finances, plans trips, etc., but I'm not interested in having a partner who sits around all day. Rent him if he's not working for someone else, he's working for the household instead. He's taking advantage, entitled to self-actualize my ass. Don't be surprised if his self-actualization includes cheating, using your money to impress gullible young women so he can feel like a man again. What the fuck do you do to make $700K? What is his current contribution to managing the household? You haven't provided info on this for us to see if he's just using you and trying to evade responsibilities. He could just be depressed that his business failed. What prevents him from making the $150K other than being not motivated to do so? M54 husband cheated on me. F53. Where do I go from here? I hope this gets approved. I've tried several times and I guess I'm not following one of the rules. Please help me, random internet strangers. Husband told me he's cheated on me several times over the years. I'm having a hard time getting over this and I don't have anyone to talk to. Most of my family is dead, only child, and I don't have any friends. What I'm having the biggest problem getting over is one of the women was his friend's wife. This went on for 4 months. They flirted, exchanged pics, and video masturbated via Facebook Messenger and/or text. They eventually met in a parking lot and she blew him. They later made arrangements for him to come to his workplace. He's self-employed and works alone. He fucked her there. They decided they needed to meet somewhere with a bed, so they meet another time at his cousin's house while his cousin was at work. Her husband was and still is fighting cancer. Apparently he becomes so difficult to live with, she was ready to leave but wouldn't do it until she had a replacement in place. I guess she thought my husband was a good choice. He says while he was fucking her, he got the impression she was trying to get him to tell her he loved her. He didn't. I believe that part. After that, he said he was done. I think her behavior really weirded him out. Supposedly there has been no more conversations about a repeat performance. I've asked him to go NC with her. Block her number and all social media. He refused. He said he needs to be able to contact her if her husband is with him and suffers some kind of medical emergency. I think that's bullshit and one or the other or both of them are keeping that door open. He's also mentioned that he's not really friends with her husband anymore because the friendship has run its course. I'm in a dark place over this. He's told me I'm not allowed to contact either of them because they've got enough going on with his cancer and he doesn't want to cause them any other issues. I want to buy a cheap throwaway phone that can't be traced back to me and send her all of my hate and vitriol. Either that or post her phone number on a site asking men to come by and fuck her. I want her to feel half the pain I'm feeling because she's turned my world upside down. I can't sleep, I'm sick to my stomach. Please help me figure out where I go from here. He told you you're not allowed to contact either one? Tell both of them and leave this pause. Cancer or not, he deserves the truth. He cheated on you multiple times? Yeah, once is enough. You really have to reconsider staying in this relationship or not. Also, I think he's trying to stop you reaching out to her and her husband. Possibly he's worried that you'll escalate this problem into something big by revealing their affair to her husband. I think you should do it because it's the human decency and moral thing to do. You want to send all of your hate and vitriol to her, but it needs to go to your husband. He's the one who stepped out on your commitment. He needs to be an ex. Get away from him. Can you move out? None of this bodes well for you. Your husband doesn't seem very remorseful, isn't cutting off the affair partner, and is protecting her relationship. So many red flags for any possible reconciliation. You need someone on your side. A therapist who specializes in relationship betrayal. You need someone who cares only about you and your interests. As far as telling the other betrayed spouse, you do what you want. Your husband isn't making the rules anymore. 20 male, just found out my GF, 21 female, has genital herpes. What action should I take on this? I'll try not to make this too long, but for context, we had dated for 3 years and separated for about 6 months before getting together again recently. About a week ago she noticed what looked like a cut on her privates, can't say the V word for some reason, which when tested ended up being herpes. I have slept with her and only her. She swears up and down she has only slept with me and only me. This may sound stupid and I think I know the answer, but is it possible she didn't cheat? I'm aware you can get it through oral with cold sores, but I knew this and made sure that never happened. I'm just lost and don't know what to think. I've gotten a blood test and I am expecting results back today or tomorrow. Even if I am positive or negative, I can't prove she did get it from someone else. Not sure how to go about this or what to believe. Any advice would be much appreciated. Edit. Thank you all for your information and support. Definitely learned some new things. For clarification, I didn't mean to imply she cheated while we were broken up, as she had every right to sleep with someone else if she did. I worded that wrong but meant that as if she lied to me about not doing so. We'll update with results once I get them. Both HSV1 and HSV2 are most contagious when sores are present but can also be transmitted when no symptoms are felt or visible. If I'm understanding you correctly, you avoided oral sex while you had cold sores, but you do get cold sores and you do give oral, just not at the same time. That's enough for her to have gotten this from you. I got it from my husband, who got it many years before we met. We had both just recovered from COVID and our immune systems were blah. His flared up and I caught it at the time. It had been dormant for a very long time. It activates when the immune system is stressed or weak. It is not evidence of cheating, just evidence he had a life before we met. Now we take valcyclovir when we feel anything starting up down there. First year of it for me was annoying, but each flare-up after that has been literally no big deal. These comments are mad. You can have herpes from birth or contract them a number of ways. They only appear later in life and usually in stressful times. You can't catch it unless you have sex whilst she has an active sore. She won't always have sores, maybe one every 3 months maximum, and every few years if she doesn't have a lot of stress or other flare-ups. Herpes isn't a death sentence, though it can be a huge confidence blow and lots of people are really mean about it. Your girlfriend having it doesn't need to be a deal breaker, but get tested and be safe. The big issue here, you already know. She got it from someone, which she shouldn't need to feel ashamed about. You guys weren't together, seeing other people is totally fair play. That shouldn't have to be a deal breaker either. But she's lying to you about it. The lying is not remotely alright. Only good reason for her to be lying about this is if it was the result of SAW and she can't talk about it yet, so be gentle and respectful just in case. But don't bring that up first, because a liar would latch onto it as another appealing lie. Also FYI, blood testing for herpes is extremely inaccurate. You can have it without ever showing, and you can get oral herpes very easy. It is possible you could have given it to her. My 27M girlfriend, 26F, is killing my confidence. How do I fix this? My 27M girlfriend, 26F, and I have been together for about a year, and lately, my confidence has been getting shot to hell. In the beginning of our relationship, she was following and liking posts from a bunch of male models and porn stars and commenting on influencers' posts. Things like, "I need to move to influencer's location." We had a discussion and agreed that this wasn't acceptable behavior in a relationship. I don't follow any provocative accounts or like anything like that. She also loves to read, and when we were first talking, she said, "Oh, I love to read fantasy novels and adventure stuff." Turns out, that's code for, I only read things that I can get off to. I told her I don't like that, but read it in private and no harm, no foul, I wouldn't say a word about it. Over the months, she would be watching TikToks or joking with her sister about all the stuff they read in their books and insinuating, I wish my sex life was like this. It irritated me because I always felt like we had an amazing sex life and I thought she felt the same. She would make jokes about getting off to books being better than anything, which made it hit a bit more personally. I made my stance clear that I didn't appreciate it and asked her to keep all of her books and book talk stuff to herself and away from me because she kept insinuating that they fill some sort of magical fantasy void that I can't. She insisted that there was no void, but everything she does says otherwise. And for the people saying, "Oh, but you get benefits from her getting turned on by this stuff, ideas, etc." There has yet to be a single time any of that has happened. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, we were in the car and she was reading in the car and it just so happened to be the one book that I told her I was appalled by after our agreement for her to keep it private. That led to an argument because she didn't keep her end of the agreement. Circling back to the influencer, porn star social media stuff. After that argument of having to constantly like a bunch of hot shirtless guys stuff, she unfollowed them all, but only on one platform. As we're laying in bed and just watching TikToks, these same dudes are all over her page and she's still following them. Again, she agreed to unfollow these people and didn't. Her justification was, "I'm not going to sit here and click unfollow on all these guys on every platform, and I don't want to have to change who I am." The pushback on simple things like this makes me feel as though that's what she wants, all these fantasies with hot, muscular, male model dudes, and I'm just what she actually has. Fast forward to last night, we were joking about something work-related and she said she was going to finish some stuff, to which I jokingly replied, "Oh, I always make sure you finish," with a wink, trying to be sexy and make her laugh. She replied with a sarcastic, "Sure you do," out of nowhere, which immediately tore my confidence to shreds. Following all of our discussions about how the things she does makes me feel like there's a void I'm not filling, that was extremely hurtful to hear, and from my perspective, comes across as she's suddenly not satisfied with our sex life even though she said it's the best she's ever had, allegedly. From someone who says she wants to be a wife and mother, but is scared to death about having kids and not being able to be an individual, because kids would take up time, I'm struggling with the concept of this being forever. How would you guys handle this? Edit. I was a very confident person before this, but now I feel like I'm having to compete for second place as the so-called man of her dreams against influencers and made-up storybook characters. It doesn't sound like this is the relationship for you. It sounds like it's causing you more stress than good things. Thank your lucky stars that you aren't married to her and leave. You don't. You leave. You've already expressed your feelings. She knows how you feel about it. Does she respect it? Nope. I'm living your life as we speak. I'm over 3 years in. My self-worth, my self-esteem, my whole self is lost because I stayed. It will not change. You've made your monster by pretty much letting her get away with disrespecting you. You're only a year in. You will find someone that won't even be doing that crap, or someone that when you said, "Hey, this bothers me," they'd respect your feelings and do what within reason to make it better and change. Relationships are nothing without discipline, sacrifices and consideration. Remember that. You would do it if she asked you, right? Find that mutual partner. Following porn stars is pretty trashy. I'd find it unattractive and be out. Run for your life. End it today. It will not change. It will not get better. She will not change. Speaking from experience. Not being a jerk. I'm dead serious. Dump her. I do think you're overreacting about the books. Crazy to police what she reads when they're literally made up characters. But I do understand how damaging her comments related to the books are to your self-esteem. The following porn, provocative content on social media is a fair line to draw though. Those are real people whether she knows them personally or not. It's gross behavior for someone to continue with in a relationship whether man or woman. I know dump her may sound extreme given that most of your relationship sounds good, but if it's taking this much of a toll on your mental health you should leave. She has shown she's unwilling to do the things that would make you more comfortable.